Hello, my name is Nicholas Polimenakos. I help out behind the scenes here from NORWAC, the Northwest Astrological Conference that is happening May 21st to May 25th, just outside of Seattle in person. Also virtually, you can watch from home. Today, I'm with Ryhan Butler. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Nicholas. Thanks for having me.
Yep,
And at a certain point, you're gonna have to stop calling yourself behind the scenes because everybody knows who you are.
yeah, but it's true. But usually, what I do there is sort of behind the scenes. But you know, yeah, I'm in front of the scenes here at NORWAC. I mean, it sounds weird. I like saying behind the scenes. But yes, that's true what you say. You know, Ryan, you've spoken at NORWAC a bunch of times here in the past, and here you are this year in 2026. You're gonna have two lectures during the weekend. You start off big here on the Friday, the opening day of NORWAC conference weekend at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. You have a lecture called "Where Angels Tread: The Ruling Planet and the Soul." Whoa, I love that title. Tell us a little bit about this, about the lecture.
Yeah, so first of all, the title is a bit of a hook to try to get the sort of like the evolutionary contingent of Norwalk to be it like to maybe come and see what this is about. But yeah, the talk itself is an exploration of ancient ideas about like spiritual astrology, like what does it mean? And it kind of more specifically focuses on the concept of the guardian daimon, sort of like this uh, spiritual helper that we're all born with, that's there to sort of like help guide us into what we're supposed to do in life. And there are different techniques in ancient astrology to sort of help us get a little bit more information about this spiritual attendant, because some people are born lucky enough to kind of already have a strong connection to like the spirit world, and so their connection with the daimon is much more natural. But then you have other oafs like me who didn't have that strong connection to like spirituality or like religion or anything like that growing up. And so I had to kind of like had to be taught it. And so the astrological techniques are just like another way to get some more information about it and sort of like understand a bit more about, why we're here, what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I find this interesting too because it's not just through astrology, but through different parts of the esoteric world that people actually deal with the diamond. And so here we're doing the astrological way. Am I correct in saying here that too that we can find it in the chart or find it within themselves, or the we can capture that feeling? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, the technique sort of mostly revolves around like identifying a planet that the daimon is supposed to
Got
be
it.
sort of the most like. And so that planet then becomes like a way to, as you sort of interface more with other things around us that are like that planet, you sort of like get closer and closer
Ah,
to
uh-huh.
to the daimon with that as you sort of also become more similar to that. Because it's sort of based off of like the sort of Greek ideas of like well, maybe not just Greek, but I know that it was kind of a big thing in like Neoplatonic thought. The idea that like the soul remembers everything that it needs to know, but then as we go through our human lives, it gets kind of covered up with like, oh, I got to pay the bills. I gotta,
Yeah.
what am I gonna eat tonight? Like, oh, I need to call mom. Like our sort of like day-to-day human experiences and needs sort of like covered up.
Mhm.
But as you kind of like intentionally get more like, no, this is something that I want to include in my life, it like starts to like open the path up. And it's
Ah,
like the astrological investigation is sort of like that first knock at the door of like, this is something that I'm interested in pursuing.
yeah, well, I can't wait for this one because I think I kind of know what maybe planet-ish for me, but I'm not quite too sure yet. So that's happening on Friday, May 22nd at 4:30 p.m. You have another lecture on Sunday afternoon at 3:45 p.m. Pacific. Um, it's called A Room for the Night, The Mansions of the Moon. I really like your titles, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are
thank
good
you.
titles. And so I'm assuming here you're talking about lunar mansions, correct?
Probably not. Probably not. You never know. Yeah, definitely talking about lunar mansions. It's been a subject that's been like close to my heart for several years now. And this is actually one of the first like lectures that I've ever done on the lunar mansions. Like I've done a lot of like writing and a lot of like different experiential things with lunar mansions, a lot of history and research, sort of trying to like put the pieces of it together or kind of like how we got here. And so this is really the first time that I'm getting to sit down. Well, I guess stand up. Will they let me sit down and lecture?
Sure, sure,
Okay.
Ryan. For you, yeah, we can sit down if you want. Yeah.
I've been around enough times. They'll give me a chair. Um, but yeah, this is the first time where I get to like sit down and kind of like just go through some of it and just sort of like lay out some explanations for it. Because one thing you need to know about me, Nicholas, and one thing you probably already know about me, Nicholas,
Hmm.
is that nothing motivates me more than seeing other people do things wrong. And so I feel like with Lunar Mansions, there's a lot of just like really weird, um, there's a lot of like really weird sort of like myths that exist about the lunar mansion, specifically in like the astrological world,
Hmm.
where people have just like, I don't know, man, just people be out there doing whatever they want.
Yes, yes. And humans have a tendency to do something like that too, especially these days where they might take a 10% of some piece of knowledge and turn it into something else or try to
Yeah.
morph it. And so so yeah, I totally understand. And I think this is interesting too. Even I know you in many different ways. I know every month, at least twice a month on your YouTube channel, you do your forecasts that are based around the lunations, and a lot of the elections that you propose there or have there deal with lunar mansions. And I've learned a lot just from watching those and how you approach an election and what one does through that election. So I think this is great because, you know, obviously there's many different people at different levels of astrology that are at the conference and on there virtually. And I haven't seen a lunar mansion anything for a while, you know, at a conference or at many conferences. So I'm pretty psyched for this one.
Yeah, and the good thing of it is that it is very like beginner friendly. Like
Yeah.
if you've only like heard about the lunar mansions but you don't really know like what they are, then this is perfect and it's going to like lay out a bunch of different ideas about kind of like how where they came from, how they
Mhm.
developed. So you'll get a pretty good chunk of it. The worst part of it is I don't know who decided there need to be 28 of these because I can't talk about all 28 in
Yeah,
a
yeah, that's
75
funny.
minute thing. Like that would be all that it is me being like, okay, mansion number one, spend 5 minutes on that. Okay, mansion number two.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it doesn't.
hard. That's
So
hard.
so
Yeah,
that's the unfortunate part is like people can get even if you're new, you can get a really good sense of what the mansions are and kind of go out from then. But I only have time to really talk about like seven of them.
sure.
So the other 21, I guess you'll just have to.
Or one day, Ryan.
Oh, each
Just
year I come back and I do a different
you,
version of the lecture where I talk
you
about a different
could,
seven.
or
Is
you
that
do,
Laura? Laura, is
yeah,
that
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, chapter three. But yeah, no, or it's, you know, it's made for a workshop too. If someone wants to really try to pack them all in.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Again, I've learned a lot too in my way, and also watching your channel, talking to you. I'm currently listening in another way, as in I'm studying. I'm in a Joytish program right now, and they're all about lunar
Yeah,
managers.
totally different world. Yeah.
Yeah, a whole different world over there. So, yeah, anyway, so on Sunday, that's your lecture there. You got two great lecture topics, Ryan. For anybody watching and thinking about attending, there's still some tickets left to attend in person, actually. You can go to norwac.net to take a look at the prices, the schedule. If you want to watch from anywhere in the world online, you can do that too. Go to the rates page, the schedule page. There's a speaker page that shows everyone who's there, their bios, and their lecture topics, the descriptions. We have pre and post conference lectures that are happening too, before and after the conference. Virtually, I will be doing something the Thursday night. Samantha and I, who also host online, will have an open house for those to get ready for the weekend. During the weekend online, we have Q&As that the speakers who are at the hotel, they actually come in virtually. We do these speakers in between the lecture, these Q&As in between the lecture track. Laurel Nabandian, who's a speaker and who runs the conference, her and I basically kind of like facilitate those Q&As. You're going to be part of a Q&A, Ryan. It's going to happen on Saturday. Yours happens at 3:10 p.m. And you will be with Janae Anthony, Stephen Forrest, Rebecca Gordon, and Bear River. Wow, wow, that's a lineup. That's a crew of people right there. So usually people in the chat, when you're watching online, you can ask a question during the Q&A, and the speakers just go in, and it's like a free-for-all, and it goes in really quick, and we go right into the next lecture. So you'll be there too, Ryan. Ryan, it's going to be good to see you face to face
Yeah,
again. This is
again,
becoming a
yeah.
tradition. A lot of times when we see each other face to face, it's at NORWAC. So pretty psyched to see you, my friend.
As I catch you like running, scurrying hither and thither to solve the next crises.
Yeah, it's a little less like that. I think this year I'm gonna have a lot more lax time
Oh, good, good.
and you know, talk with more people and do interviews and all that stuff. And sometimes too, on the online portion, I'll come in on my phone from the floor of NORWAC and maybe grab somebody for an impromptu interview,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah, do
Ryan.
it.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah. But for anyone who's interested, we'd love to have you there. Um, to finalize this, I just want to let people know one thing. This is the 42nd NORWAC in a row. There was, during the pandemic, there was the online portion, right? And we've come back, but this is 42 straight years of an amazing regional conference that's been run by the Nalbandian family. I'm really proud to be like connected to it, and it's just my highlight of the year. I've met so many people in the astrology world. I mean, Ryan, you know, our colleagues and friends. It's a very incredible experience, and it's also right there online too, you know. So,
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'll definitely give NORWAC kind of credit for is that NORWAC was the first conference that was willing to be flexible enough to do online
yeah.
stuff. The pandemic definitely accelerated it, of course. But even after that, NORWAC has continued to be hybrid, and I just think that's so great. Like that's such a great opportunity for people who can't make it in person for whatever myriad reasons.
Yeah, and it's I get over the last couple of years, the last several years too, just to see there's always trying to add something new each year for the online portion, and you know that's why I threw in the open house part here on the Thursday, and again I want to throw some surprises that people want to get a chance on the fly there because of technology, Ryan. It's
Oh
amazing
no.
what you could do. So, but yeah, I'll see everyone there, and Ryan, I'll see you in person.
Yeah, sounds great. Looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah, thanks for coming on.
Of course.